CIO News. I am Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, which is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by the experiences they provide, and millions of experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is shaping what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnership that deliver game-changing business benefits. I'm very excited to invite another guest for our episode, Mr. Dominic Vijay Kumar. He's the Vice President and Chief Technology Officer of Finance. Dominic is a technology specialist with expertise in designing, implementing, and supporting IT services, operations, and infrastructure. He has led several digital transformation initiatives in his career. He has rich 20 years of experience in his journey, which has significantly contributed in the growth and development of the organizations he has been associated with, which is equipped with strategies for augmenting efficiencies, reducing costs, new initiatives, team management, which includes transformation vision, develop client segment-based value propositions, collaborate with key business decision makers, and achieve consistent success. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you so much, Khushbu. This is Soni, and it's a pleasure to be part of your CIO News Fireside chat. Thank you everyone for inviting me, and we should start up. Let's begin our.
Awesome. So I guess your volume low.
You can hear me now?
Yes, this is better.
Yeah.
So Lakhanpal. Saurabh is a domain specialist across Avaya customer experience solution. Saurabh is an avid CX advocate and has about 12 years of experience in providing contact center and workforce optimization solution. Saurabh has worked in roles like pre-sales, solution consulting, sales specialist across leading organizations. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thanks, Khushbu, and welcome, Mr. Dominic. So we'll start off the session for today, and the major discussion point today with Mr. Dominic is around the customer experience, right?
Yeah.
A topic which is very close to my heart, and everywhere I go or every customer that I talk to, customer experience is something that everyone would want to improve on. And the first question, if I ask you, Mr. Dominic, is around that only. How are you managing your customer experience, and what kind of channels or interaction channels are you providing your customers in today's time?
Saurabh, since I come from a financial organization, and especially very specifically we come from the affordable segment. The kind of customers we work with from the tier 3, tier 4 cities, and a little bit of the premium metro cities also. So the customer journey, when you look at the customer kind of customers we have, is more of an you can say weaker section, lower income group section, like you have Ola drivers, the tea stall owners, the grocery shop owners. So these kind of customers. Today, the kind of disbursement what we do, like when you look at my ticket size between 10 to 25 lakhs rupees, where I do disbursement. The customer kind of experience what we face today, the technologies made these customers to adapt the technology and get things going. When you look at, those were the days where home loan used to take 15 days, 20 days, sometimes even 45 days to get a loan sanction for a home loan. Today, with the last 5 years, that the way the home loans have been digitized and technology is brought in, we are able to disperse the loan within a span of 15 days to 10 days, subjected to all the kind of this thing. Post disbursement, how are you going to manage the customer? That is where my customer journey actually starts, because once I disperse my loan, there are so many other things which I need to manage the customer, because my relationship with the customer is going to be from 10 to minimum 20 years. Okay, nothing before that. But during this 10, 20 years of tenure, the kind of support I'm going to, whether that's the kind of support, the kind of additional loans I'm going to give, the way the customer behaves, because once you give him a loan, you got to see keep monitoring him in such a way that he doesn't turn into an NPA. Now, when you say NPA delinquency, he becomes a defaulter. I need to keep monitoring. So I need to set up a customer experience journey by developing an app, giving some kind of freebies by saying that after 3 years or 5 years the rate of interest is reduced, and keep monitoring. You can't say the word monitoring, but digitally you go to see that how is this customer's business going up, and in what all is app. Like today we are talking about non-traditional data. We we monitor his Facebook accounts, social media accounts. We try capturing his short code SMS, the kind of SMS he reads, the kind of people he interacts with. There are certain things, and when we see that there is some kind of red flag raised, we try to pitch in on customer and try to see. And at the same time we also monitor the customer, because when you acquire a customer, his customers become central database which is being monitored regularly. Now again, we use a digital channel, like we use our website, we use multiple social media sites, we use GSM technology here. Then at the same time, the central database where we hold the customers, there we start watching that is the customer looking out for another loan, he's approaching another customer finance organization for a loan. So there we try selling it up, like cross selling or upselling we do. So basically, when I look at this 20 years of journey, when I'm talking about with the customer, digital plays a very, very important role, because physically I cannot go monitor a customer. We talk about is the way he speaks, the way he moves out. And we know the situation is where we use a technology where we see that he moves from his office to the house and house to office. What is his movement? Where does he go other than that? We capture that data. So there are certain things, and we give a customer an access for him to access all his documents, to make him feel more comfortable and say that yes, whatever he's given, the documents what he shared with us is safe and secure. At any point of time, he is accessible to my customer service team. Today, customer doesn't have to call up from his phone or something. He just have to dial a button which is available on my website or on the app what we given him. He gets connected to my customer service team, and he can ask a number of things. And even we make him self like, and you can say that we teach them technology. If he wants a interest certificate, or if he wants a MITC certificate to download, or if he wants to view his prepayment schedule, he can log on to my website or through the app he can. So this kind of journey we have built. And the kind of customers we have, no, these are limited knowledge customers. So for them, giving this challenge, giving them and making them and asking them to utilize the channels what we give is very, very important. Second thing is we mostly bring the customers. These days, customers, especially when it comes to home loan, they prefer a physical uh, meet with the lender always. Though you give them the n number of digital, the physical. So there is a periodic review by the credit manager or the salesperson or by the management itself to the customer, depending on the kind of cycle he's using. So these are the multiple channels we meet through. It's both hybrid model, I can say. It is not 100% technology. It's both hybrid model we use to be in touch with the customer. This is one part of the customer journey what we are doing. As on last 7 years, this is what we are doing, and we are successful in having the customers intact. We haven't lost the customers, rather we have acquired more number of customers, made their life easy today, and giving them a better. And we are trying to educate the customer. People who don't know how to use a phone are being told to use a phone. These are a few things which we are following, and there are many things to come. We have a lot of data points we are capturing. We are using the CRM as a tool for capturing data point, doing upselling, and we give an option for the customer just to come onto my website, drop in the thing, and do a calling up and see that we convert hot calls, low calls, cold calls. So these are a few things which is a part of my customer journey as on today. But we when further technology, when we start growing, then we try bringing in more things.
And you rightly said you need to teach the consumers, how to use a
Yeah,
phone. I mean,
obviously.
one is voice call. They've been using it, from ages now. But from a digital perspective, how to utilize different channels and how to provide that information.
Yeah,
And really, one thing that I liked in the response that you provided is the proactiveness of the business to monitor the customers proactively, and then proactively reaching out to them if they are applying for a loan maybe somewhere else, getting
yes,
that information. That data utilization, I think, is you're doing it very well. And you mentioned about physical and digital combination as well. I think that's an important thing in today's time. We always discount one thing over another, that physical is more important or digital is more important.
correct,
But I think you rightly said, phygital is the right way to go. The
yes,
hybrid model is
correct.
the right way to go. Yeah. Right. So let's move on to the next question. How do you really measure, CX? What are the, the techniques that, you use, or you would want, your fellow, CX heads to use?
In the customer journey.
Uh, yeah, or to overall manage your customer experience, maybe in
See,
the
see,
entire customer journey, or before they are your customer, you are trying to poach them, and then when you are there, when they are your customers, and then after the journey as well, right? So if you're keeping in touch with your customers even after, they have disbursed your loan completely, and maybe to look at the future possibilities from that perspective.
so, as a CTO, we closely work with the CMO team, that is my Chief Marketing Officer, who's solely responsible for the customer journey, and we support him technologically and keep things moving. So there are few points which we very clearly follow. One is the meeting of the customer, whether I'm there or my CMO is there. See that the company is in touch with the customer, build the confidence in the customer, saying that you're because you find customers. One is fresh loans, another one is loan against property. When you say loan against property, the documents are with me. So I need to build a kind of confidence in the customer, saying that your house documents which are with me is safe and secure. At any point of time, it can be viewable to you, and you can get it back post you clear my loan. So that thing. So there we need to have a physical interaction. Okay. Second thing is the major part of the customer, especially the kind of customers we deal with. When you tell them there is a rate of interest coming down, any customer for that matter, because today when you look at my public sector banks, or any of my competitors, okay, we are already in the field like big brothers like India Bulls and all that. They always give a rate of interest which reduces. Easy for them to do away. There we play a very major role, convincing the customer to stay back in the same ROI or trying to bring a percentage of down. Not like because today if I'm talking about an X percentage of rate of interest and somebody is giving X minus Y, I may not be able to go. That will not sustain my business. So it all depends on how you're going to convince my customer the kind of freebies I'm going to give you and how you're going to take him in the thing. There's two things. These are things which are physically given to the customer. Other than that, on the digital mode, we try to on his wedding anniversary, on his birthday. See what happens when you start meeting a customer digitally on a personal one-on-one basis. Customer feels very, very happy. And second
Definitely.
thing is when a customer calls you on your customer care number and your customer care executive picks up the calls and Mr. Dominic, good morning, welcome to our housing finance. This makes a lot of difference. But see, and normally we don't speak much English because the kind of customers we use, as I always keep repeating, the customers what I have is we use a vernacular languages. Okay, in vernacular languages like you talk about Marathi, Rajasthani, Hindi, and this kind Haryani also we are trying to speak to the customer. So this makes the customer feel very comfortable. He feels very happy. Yeah, as soon as I call up, somebody remembers my name. After 5 years, 6 years, you still remember. But see, it is a technology what we are used to make him met the customer. So customer always understands. He feels very happy. Yes, we are doing this. We are doing that. And we try bringing the customer when somebody is trying to go for a BT or trying to move away from us. We try bringing him back and saying that this is what we can do. We try educating the customer. One is through technology by calling this calling the customer by name, addressing the customer by name. That itself gives a confidence in the customer. Yes, yes, this is
Yeah.
what I'm safe at this particular place. Second, physical thing. I always tell my CMO, more than technology, see that you physically meet the customer, how you can do. And we pushed a lot of things. We are giving them a lot of apps to work on. They can see the complete their for example, if somebody is applying for a loan, he can see the complete loan journey on his app. With that, even he comes to know that what time it is sanctioned, when it's signed, when it's going to get that disbursed, and we stick on to the commitment. These are a few things, and we make the customer come to a branch for certain, because in as per the RBI norms, as per the legal terms, there are certain documents which has to be physically signed by the customer at the branch. So at the branch, when the customer comes, we make him feel that the way the interior, the kind of setup what we have. There also we show them the technology. We use Aadhaar and all those things. So this makes customer feel more comfortable, more easy, and the relationship becomes stronger. We hardly lose any customers. Yes, I can say that last 2 3 years I would have lost around 6 to 7% of my customers for various reasons. It's foreclosure and all that. But technically speaking, I have customers starting from 2013 onwards till date with me on a very decent this one. So these are a few things which I think, like as I again repeat, physical and technology plays a very, very important role to hold back your
Yeah.
customers. You need to have proper tools for that. like your CRM, the kind of CRMs you're going to have, the kind of integration you have, and at any point of time, you should have your customers' data on your fingertips to technology, but human being cannot have that. So these are few things which makes a customer feel very comfortable, and I always insist on my CMOs to carry this forward. And the kind of response we give to the customer. I mean, you call me up for an issue, I see that I respect the SLA what I have. The next moment I call up. In case I don't pick up your call, I send a SMS to you saying that sorry we missed your call. We'll call you back inside. So these are certain things which is an impact on the customer, and he says yes, there is some kind amount of importance given to me as a customer. It applies to me also. If they do no company doesn't respect me, then I will not go back to the company. Obviously, it's a similar way we maintain. These are few points which we very closely monitor and
Definitely, these are very
sensitiveness.
small things, which matter most to the
Yes,
customers, and will play a very vital role in improving the customer experience. And
correct.
you rightly said, the personalization. We always say, the consumers are always picky, right? PICI, which is personalized. They wanted personalized, information. They wanted, immediate information. They
Yeah,
wanted to be customized to them, and intuitive as well, so that you identify why I am calling you and all those things. And
correct.
technology always plays that part,
It's more,
in providing
it's
that
more of
picky
a tool
response.
which help you to ease your things.
Exactly. And all right, so next question is related to you. I mean, you are a technology person, and next question is related to technology. So around cloud. So we all talk about cloud, and moving to cloud from a technology advancement perspective, and to bring in various benefits that cloud provides. But still, when I talk to the security personnel around cloud, there is always a concern. But how do you see cloud as part of your business strategy, and or are you already on cloud?
So there are two ways we look at cloud for our business. One is again since we are a financial organization, we come directly under RBI and HB, and there is a set of rules and regulation given to us. The core lending system where my core customer database is available to me, accessible, which I'm storing it, cannot be put on the cloud because we are still not confident that how secure is the cloud. It's, it's anyone for that matter, whether the CTO or a CISO, anyone for that matter will agree with me on this. Okay, so what we do is normally the core lending system where your complete business is dependent on that. That is, we have an in-house data center or we do a co-location of the data center. We don't, or we go for a private dedicated cloud with your limited access. And primary is one and the secondary. Secondary is always on the cloud because secondary is always something which is a mirroring of the core thing. Say one fails, we take out another. And when you talk about other applications which are supporting this particular core lending system are hosted on the cloud, because what happens on the cloud, it is pay per use. You wanted to run a campaign for next 6 months, you take a small space on the cloud and utilize it and shut it down. That's over for you. That is only for campaigning kind of marketing activities, and when you are running a major ROI change or some moratorium activity like in COVID we had only those times. But technically speaking, we hold the core database within our system, and there are certain compliance KYC documents like your Aadhaar number and all that, which is not supposed to be stored within my data center. So we have an Aadhaar vault, which is directly under a complete preview of RBI clearance. So we store it there. But when you look at cloud, cloud is a very, very good solution. But in India, we are yet to get mature to that level, though we have n number of data centers, we have Amazons, we have Microsoft Azure and all that. We are still able to get that maturity level is not yet come to us because the Indian financial industry still depends on the legacy part. When you look at sudden big gains like SBI and all that, they still have the data center in-house in the sense they are doing a co-location. So cloud is good for me, a good to have kind of thing only when you're running certain activities and hosting certain applications which is not your core business application. You can always, it is just an add-on to your customer journey. But when you talk about your core lending system, the way which where you run your CBS or your any kind of application, you talk Finacle and all that, it has to be within your network because that carries your business. Any mismatch, any breach, any kind of thing will lead your business to shut down. And once you get shut down business, it's a legal compliance issue. You cannot overcome that. There are I've seen people losing their jobs. I've seen people going behind bars for these kind of activities. So cloud is always a option for us whether use it or not. Yes, certain activities we use it, but we still stick on to our own legacy style that I think we may take another 5 to 6 years, because today when you look at my data protection laws, it is something else. I mean, it is yet to be table and come out in the mouth thing full fledged. We are still in the negotiation stage. We are still talking about it. We don't know when we are going to release it. How many people are going to follow this? Every day we speak about breach. Every day we speak about ransomware attacks. We speak about data getting stolen. There are multiple things happening. But if you look for a small organization, for a fintech, it may be useful, okay, for hosting for a small organization. But in an organization which is already built from last 10 years, 15 years, which is in the industry, which has got a huge amount of database, is always a challenge to host 100% on the cloud. It also, again, as I say, it is both an hybrid model. It is in-house as well as cloud technology where we go.
Mm.
But I'm not saying that cloud is not secure. Cloud is still secure, but it all depends on the kind of regulations we come under, and we should have a stringent law saying that in case there's something happens, certain people have to be responsible. Because in cloud also, no cloud provider takes the responsibility of your security of your data or anything. It is you who's going to take the security of your data. It is I'm responsible for my application, my data on the cloud. It is just a space given to me. It's like renting the house. Similar concept, but it again depends how you want, what you want to host it onto the cloud. That's it from my side.
Very rightly said, sir. So next question is around going deeper into the technology itself, and you have a lot of data, and in your earlier answers you mentioned about the analysis that you do on top of it. So just want to pick your brains on how important from a technology viewpoint the analytical tools, the BI tools available in the market, the analysis that they do, and the AI ML capabilities that are there in almost all of the products nowadays. So how what are your thoughts around the analytical tools and the AI and ML tools?
So, Saurabh, it's a right question to ask us, because today, since we are growing, I can always consider my company as a growing company, not a fintech company. For me, the data plays a very important role, especially the data points what I capture, and the AI and ML is a major thing for me today. When you look at, without that, I cannot analyze anything. Again, till I don't have a data, I can't run an AI tool or I can't run an ML. And when I run all those things, I need to have a hardcore analytical tool to give me the actual figures of what is happening, the kind of representations. I'll give an example. Since we work with the remote locations, okay, we wanted to. There are certain districts or certain places where the NP and the delinquency rates are more. Okay, so we don't want to fund those areas. How do we do it? We try capturing the data of the customer. We hire because we cannot spend so much of capex on setting up an own data science or data modeling kind of structure. We had hired an organization to capture certain with existing customers only. With existing customers, we had hired an agency to do it for us. We found that there are certain black spots where we are already funded. For example, I don't want to name the state or the particular region, but there are certain places on the northern part of India where after funding, your recovery becomes a problem for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so this data point, like we have captured that particular agency has even they captured the movement of the customer, the kind of phones he uses, the kind of conversation, the kind of friends he's got, with who all lenders he's been talking, how many lenders he's already been in touch with. These are certain data points which we capture, and we look more at the social media activity also, not breaching his privacy, but so the kind of comments he makes onto the social media, like we capture his sentiments, how aggressive he is, what is he doing. And there are certain times we do an FI, physical field investigation, to just check if he does stays in the same address, how many times he changes mobile. These are certain data points which we have captured, and how many times he logs onto the website, how many times he seen my website, in the website which all page is more interested in seeing it. See, there's certain data points which was captured by the agency, and see, we were surprised to see that we find at least 20 to 30% of our customer tend to become NPA and tend to become a delinquency kind of customer, where I have a major risk of recovering the money. Okay, see, litigation is again something different, but we already have a data with us to find out, yes, these are the set of customers we are going to have the next 90 days or next 2 years, 3 years, we're going to have a delinquent, they're going to be an NPA kind of. So we start working at the back end. How are you going to recover it? See, my legal team comes into the picture. So the data points what we capture is very important. The kind of tool we use is very, very important. See, you have n number of tools today in the market. You have everybody comes out with a new analytical tool. But to have an analytical tool, you need to have sufficient amount of data, and those data should be relevant to your business. You shouldn't have junk amount of data. Yes, today you get data is unstructured format, but how are you going to structuring it? How are you going to do it? We capture the data from my website. How many of my customers, like, there are, I think, when I look at my website, apply online, I convert at least 20% of my leads coming on my website into a full-fledged contact. Though I get around 100%, we say the telecalling team, they convert only 20% of it. So we kept that. Then through Facebook, we do a lot of activity. With the kind of customers, we are more active on the Facebook. We do that. WhatsApp marketing, we do. WhatsApp has got a very good response. And the bots, the kind of people we use interact with. It's more that. So when you look at analytic, these are the data right now for the kind of customers we have. We capture these kind of data because we can't go deep into their privacy and get the come to know. But we have a solution called Hunter, which tells me which customers applied loan at which places. So this very clearly says, this customer has applied at multiple places. He's not a genuine customer. And if you start changing his mobile number 10 times, he's not a genuine customer. So
Right.
these are certain things which we capture and keep. And this GPS location also sometimes. Say for existing customer, we send an app to him saying that these are the few things which is coming up. But at the back end, we see that we capture all his short code SMS interaction, the kind of phone calls he talks to, what kind of thing. There are certain customers where what happens, when you don't do this kind of activity, after 2 years or 3 years, they turned out to be a NPA customer, and they go to any extent of that. I have examples where customer go to the help saying, I will not pay money, I'll do a self-elimination. This kind of activity. And for me, analytics has played a very important role. MI to run this data, capture the unstructured data which is captured, running in proper artificial intelligence and machine learning, which chunks my data into, is made me a very important role. And this has helped me out in last 2-3 years to reduce on my NPS.
Right. So my last question to you, Mr. Dominic, and it's around the current situation that we are in, the pandemic and the lockdown, right? So it affected, almost all of the businesses worldwide, and many businesses moved their work to home as well. So how did you manage, that situation, and what role the technology played in that movement?
First lockdown, which was called, it was unpredicted, no planning was done. But because we work on three kind of technology devices. One is a mobile device for the sales team, next is a laptop for the senior manager, and the desktop. These are three things. The challenge what we faced, because all these are, see, again I tell you, as a compliance requirement, even the auditor comes and asks me what kind of antivirus you install my system. So we keep all those things, your VPN connectivity, your antivirus, and limited access to who got what kind of access. The only challenge was a logistics problem when there was a lockdown, which was called out for the first time. Logistics problem, converting desktop users to laptop users, training them, giving them an access, sending them to when seeing that it reaches their place and they start working out. Second challenge I faced was my call center. How did I push my call center onto the cloud? There was a major challenge because call center is the one which is going to help me out during these kind of crisis. Okay, the major problem I faced was the connectivity at the user end, not at my call center end, the user end.
Mm.
But we try to manage that. And technically speaking, all my laptops, desktops, and mobile devices are secured using the security tools, the relevant tools. They talk about your MDM, mobile device management, or your VPN connectivity, and no data stored locally on the system. All the data stored on my centralized server, and everyone connects to my corporate network using a VPN. So I have a proper log of who's logging in what time and all that. Thank God we were a little bit proactive. We were able to keep our patches, security, antivirus, and all those things up to date, so that we never had problem. Yes, but we had a lot of issues when it comes to connectivity at the user end, because users were very comfortable working on a very big fat internet inside the corporate office or in the branches. When you ask them to work from their home on a small broadband connectivity or using the mobile hotspot, it was a major challenge for us, because at the user end for them it is internet is not working, call center solution is not working. मेरा omni fin नहीं चल रहा है, मेरा ये नहीं चल रहा, वो नहीं चल रहा. But end of the day, the solution what we had to see that the connectivity what they have was the thing. So I always say in many of my seminars, like in India we still need to improve our internet connectivity, improve our GSM connectivity, especially though there are big places in Delhi also, we still have blind spots which has to be, because COVID has taught us a very good lesson that we should be ready to handle any kind of scenario, whether it's work from home. That's why many of the companies are still working from home only. We work on the hybrid model again. Few people work from home and few of us work from the corporate office. But again, technology perspective, I use strong VPN, strong security policies we have solution built, and all our applications are web-based applications, well secured using your SSL VPNs and all that. And none we have never gone for a client server architecture. And thank God, we in that way we were able to save many of our business. And during this COVID time, it was more of a collection activity. No sales happened, very frankly speaking. It's more of a
Mhm.
collection activity. But this COVID has taught us that, Dominic, you got to be ready at any point of time. No compromise on your technology. And second thing is, in an organization like any organization today, technology is given more importance post COVID. Take my word, CTOs got a value, CIOs got a value, the CISOs kept brought into the boardroom, and the board is made responsible for the complete policy, security, and all those things. So this COVID has opened an eyes of and a non-technology person to give value to IT. It is IT CIO, CTOs no more in desktop and laptop user. He's on the topmost, almost you can say, rubbing his shoulders with his MD and CEO right now, and getting things more. And it's our duty to see that we safeguard our customer data. See, end of the day, it is the customer is my king. I will safeguard my reputation of my company and see that nothing goes wrong. So we have worked out on a lot of solutions on this. We are still working on it. We are looking at a lot of other new solutions to be more secure, more make feasible. We may be moving out of desktop, laptops, give them a virtual kind of activity, so that people dependency on your devices goes off,
Yep.
and we move more onto the mobile devices, app-based technology. That we are working on the thing, but COVID is always a taught us a lesson, and given IT a very important thing. I'm very happy that today IT is called for everything. There is no day that without IT things go like that in
Yeah,
this way.
definitely. And with that, I thank you for your insights, Mr. Dominic, and thank you for the time you spent with us out of your busy schedule. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you so much, Saurabh, for moderating. Thank you so much, sir. I think these are wonderful insights for our viewers. Um, Thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much, Khushbu. It's my pleasure talking to you all. Okay.
Thank you.